we're back. Kind of a cool testament to this that I'll get into in a minute, but I'm at one of my favorite locations in the whole world, literally my second home. And if you've been following along, tell me what that is. Put it in the comments. Be kind of funny to see who knows. Anyway, so I was flying today and ripping around with my speedybee here, and I tried to do a very, very aggressive power loop in a very, very tight spot. And I slammed into a very non-soft object, and I thought I completely trashed the 04. People talk about how delicate this thing is, and the noise that this thing made when it hit what it hit. Everybody came up and like, what the hell was that? Kind of crazy. So I put the goggles back on after I recovered and tried to fly, and the whole view was going like this on its own, and I was just trying to fly straight. So I thought I trashed my 04 Lite. I pulled this thing off, and you can see the lens in there in the little mount. The whole camera was pushed all the way back inside the housing while this thing stayed here. And I was like, oh man, you know, first impression, freaking, like I just destroyed this thing. But I kind of took it apart and was able to push that back in, and it popped into place. Didn't see any scratches on the lens. This thing pops off, and there is no broken lens. But, like I said, the view was completely shit. So I'm sitting here an hour later, and I'm like, I got to figure out what's going on with this. So I plug the drone in, quadcopter, boot everything up, and I go to fly it without the wide-angle lens on it, and it flew fine. I had zero issues, no jitters or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? It's got to be this. So this could be sort of a PSA. So I look at it, I grab it like this, I put it next to my ear, pretend my head's there, and I go like this. And it sounds like if I shook my head, you know, the rocks moving around. So I realized that something was wrong inside here, and that made me happy and confused at the same time. Yay, it's not broken. I don't have a lot of these. I think I have 2. So I got creative, pulled the lens off, and I was hoping that it would come apart. So I pull this off, and then there are 2 lenses inside. There's the one that's closest to the camera. Excuse me, mosquito. That's that little round one. And then there is another lens that pops in place that's square in there. So I pushed, like I said, the ND filter out, and then I just pulled back this whole thing and popped that other lens. And then it was very easy to figure out what was wrong. The concave first lens that's inside there had popped out of its little housing. Then I'm like, crap, I don't want to glue it. I've never had luck with gluing lenses or anything down. The fumes and the stuff that comes out of super glue, especially in a sealed compartment, would leave the gas and it leaves a white residue. So I didn't want to do that. So I just kind of looked as close as I could to realize it was a beveled edge that it sits in, and I was able to pop it back into place. And then I was able to clean the lens, put the secondary lens in, and then the ND filter. And that's it. I lucked out today, because the 04 Lite there did not break, and it was a simple fix. So if something were to go wrong and you have this, check your lens first and make sure that the inner one didn't pop out of the housing. But whoever created and designed and printed this thing, huge kudos to. I wish there was a file out there, because I'd make a bunch of them, because this thing did its job. It took the brunt, and I was probably upside down, so it may have hit the edge or the corner of this thing and just flung it off, because there are no visible marks. And like I said, I was power looping, so I was somewhere in this vicinity when I headbutted whatever I did. But it flung this thing off, and I'm very impressed. So the little setup that I had kind of worked as like a crash bar, allowing all of the stress to be taken. Pop the lens out, and I would have been happy if this was broken, because at least I can buy this and not worry about the whole camera and the issues that you have when you try to swap just the camera. So happy day.